Hey, Pat and Dave back for another episode of Shop Talk, where today we're diving deep again on the all-new Polaris XPEDITION. So Dave, what's our topic for today?
Well, we talked about Polaris XPEDITION is all built for adventure, right? Today we're talking about capability.
Capability. So when I think about that, 72-hour weekend adventure where I'm going out camping with my family, like one of the things I think about is gas, right? Like how much fits and how far can I go?
That's right. Well, that's normally what riders are thinking about when they think about how far can they go on a fuel tank of gas. So we put a larger fuel tank on here, 12.5 gallons. Depending on driving conditions, you can get up to 200 miles.
200 miles. All right, let's wander back to the back of this thing a bit. Just from where are things located, right? Engine's here in the back. Clutches are kind of where they are on many Polaris off-road vehicles. Transmission's back here, and the front drive obviously up in front between the two wheels. And Dave, we got a few of these things out on the bench today that we can kind of explain how they actually work to people. So let's head over to the other side here quick. All right, so first and foremost, we got an alternator. What is this?
Right.
Which vehicles get this alternator? Because not all Polaris XPEDITIONs get this, right?
No, so this comes on all North Stars, and this gives you that the extra electrical capacity that you need for your light bars, all the accessories you're going to take with you. 140 amps cranked out of that
140 amps, yeah. That's awesome. All right, let's set that off on the other side. So the next thing we got is here a rear transmission that we actually took the rear differential out of. And one of the things you may have heard us talk about in previous episodes was an upgrade to the 4-spider design on this rear end. So I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but if you look down, you'll see there's gear sets every 90 degrees through these windows, and you can kind of see the pin maybe on the outside here that indicates you've got separate gear sets. So in the natural state, when this thing's in two-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, this collar is going to be shoved in, and both of these hubs are going to be locked together, so both wheels are spinning at the same speed. When you want to unlock it, when you flip that button down for turf mode, this solenoid that's mounted normally here on the side of the transmission is actually going to push this little plunger out. And if you look down with the camera over here, I'm going to fake it out with a screwdriver, but this little area is going to pivot. And what that's going to do is actually take this collar and it's going to slide it back about that far. Now, just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to pull it right out just so you guys can see. But when I do that, now I can independently operate both outputs in opposite directions or the same way. So when you think about what is turf, how does it work? Like, it's that simple. It's really not super complex, but kind of a cool looking part that people ask us, how the heck does this work a lot? So that's the back end of the vehicle. Again, when you're in two-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, this collar is going to lock back into place, and that's going to get both wheels moving. So Dave, as we move up to the front, what other upgrade do we have on this front drive?
Yeah, so this front drive is isolated. You can see here the rubber isolators, how it mounts to the chassis, gives it a really strong mounting orientation in the vehicle, but it also isolates any noise vibration you might get through the front drive. And of course, this is built off of the VersaTrack all-wheel drive that we've had with Polaris for about 15 plus years, been very proven. You get the benefit of open diff, rear locker, or all-wheel drive with a click of a switch. Fantastic system. Now just upgraded for more capability.
Yeah, that's right. So maybe we'll zoom back in. We've got an older front drive here, but the basics are kind of the same on how these things work. So we've got two wires coming in for an electromagnet buried down in here. This is actually an output hub on one side. You see it rides on a bearing here. There's the seal. But this normally would fit right down in here inside this roller cage. And the way this works is that when the output shaft is spinning, you see that the other hub here isn't moving at all. So this one's stationary. But when you put that drag, this plate actually indexes in, and then it allows the whole thing to spin. And you should see that that output hub now is spinning along with that. So the beauty of this all-wheel drive system is that it makes it really easy. Like the steering effort's very low. And maybe I'll pull this ring gear out so you guys can kind of see how this works. So this is the other output hub. So you got one here, and you'll see that there's actually two sets of rollers inside this cage. And if I slide them out a little so I don't lose them out the other side, you should be able to see that there's all these machined areas in here. And this basically clocks in one way for forward and the other way for reverse. So it's a really mechanically simple setup. But it's pretty ingenious how it works because you get nice, easy two-wheel drive steering effort until the rear wheels start to slip and then those front tires engage and makes it easy. You don't even have to think about it. Flip the button and away you go. All right, so Dave, we got sitting in front of the bench here, we got a tire too. And I think it's because we don't have stock tires on this vehicle, right?
That's right. Well, you got to dress it up, right? So yeah, every Polaris XPEDITION is coming with a new 5-lug pattern. So we're actually using unitized hubs off the rear of the Razor Pro R. So you can imagine what that thing is built for. That capability has been brought into, or that durability has been brought into Polaris XPEDITION as well. But check out the stock wheel. It's a brand new 15-inch wheel, 5-lug. And a new Pro Armor Crawler XP tire. You can see it's got a really tough sidewall, as well as a new sipe down the tread pattern, something you might see kind of like on a short course truck. So great traction, great durability. That tire is going to get you where you need to go, but a lot of people love to change their wheels and tires, so obviously we have bead locks available as well, like featured on this one right here.
Nice. So Dave, I think another thing when we're standing up in the front corner here is all about the shocks and suspension on this thing, right? And we've got an all new shock style really on this machine. So from an adjustability perspective, you can see it's got the QS3. So I don't know if you can see up here, but super simple. Crank it over for firm. You got in the middle or all the way for soft. But we've got a spiral bore groove technology inside this shock. So it actually gives you some really progressive rate damping. And if you think about what the inside of a rifle bore looks like, how you get that kind of helical cut along the bore, this has got that as well. So it allows us to get progressive rate damping throughout the stroke to be able to handle what this machine is capable of and give you really good suspension performance and feel. So overall, I mean, ride quality on this is really nice.
Very cool that Fox brought that technology to Polaris XPEDITION. I believe it's the first off-road application of that spiral bore technology, which is awesome because it gave a really comfortable ride on the trail, but great bottom out control for all the gear you're going to take with you, all the people you're taking with you on the trail.
Yeah, for sure. So Dave, one of the other things when I think capability is, you know, where do you mount the intakes, right, to keep the water out, right? So here, like way up high.
Yeah, I mean, what sets overlanding vehicles apart sometimes when you see them coming down the trail is high air intakes, right? You don't want to be slowed down by any water crossings or any mud or maybe snow, whatever you're going to run into when you're out on your 72 adventure. You know you're getting clean air because it's got high air intakes, the engine on one side and then the clutch air intake here on the driver's side.
Nice. So as we go back up to the front of the vehicle here, when we think about, you know, ground clearance and suspension travel, like if you look down, you know, this thing's got huge high clearance arms on it, right? So massive amount of space to clear obstacles on the trail.
Yeah, really beefy A-arms, check that out. And as expected from a Polaris off-road vehicle, you got high clearance arms, you got 14 inches of ground clearance, up to 15 inches of travel, 30-inch tires, so you're going to get over any terrain that you come across.
Yeah, I think the other thing that's really nice that you guys might be able to see on the camera here is you look at the plane of the front wheels. There's hardly anything on this bumper and winch that really sticks out. So it might not be quite a 90-degree approach angle, but it's really close on the Polaris XPEDITION, right?
Yeah, you'll notice on this Polaris XPEDITION, the wheels have really been pushed to the extreme for the approach and departure angle. The vehicle stays planned, can hit any terrain you want, but if you do need it, you've got protection. Everyone comes with a front bull bumper as well as a winch right from the factory. As we talked about, I think in a previous episode, really easy to access the controller there, and you're ready to go right from the showroom floor with a winch and bumper.
Yeah, so Dave, I think we better rip this front rack off and kind of show everybody how to access the grill and what we got underneath.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's always important to keep your radiator clean, right? And keep your engine running cool. So we made the grill really accessible. You can see these 2 quarter turns right here. You just flip these 2, they pop out, and the grill comes out just like that. Isn't that sweet? Camera actually stays in place. Check that out. It's got a front camera, but when you remove the grill, there's no wires to mess with or anything. It stays there. The radiator is easy to access. You can clean it out there. And then just 2 straps right here. Flip this. You can get the hood completely out of the way, and then check out under the hood. First thing you'll notice, you got a cabin filter. So with your heat and air conditioning, it's actually filtering the air when it comes in. You got your washer bottle here. You got your antenna for your GPS system and your radio antenna here. But maybe the coolest thing under the hood here is the Polaris Pulse system. So we know you love to add your accessories, right? With the Polaris Pulse system, it's pre-wired up to here, and each one of these connectors, there's 6 of them here, are pre-powered, so when you buy a Polaris accessory, it comes with a wire harness. You can plug it into Pulse. We already have routing to the dash for your switch, We also have holes even in the roll cage to run up to your light bar. So no drilling required. You don't have to make your own harnesses. We took care of that for you. It's ready to accessorize.
Yeah, so overall, guys, I think what you heard here, super capable vehicle, right? Starting off, we got a one-piece chassis that we may have forgot to mention, gives really good performance on the handling side. We got that powerful 114 horse engine. We got new clutches, we got a new belt, we got new transmission, you know, front drive, you know, shocks, you know, all the, you know, everything we talked about up front. I guess, Dave, what else do we need to recap here?
And the fuel range to go on your 72-hour adventure. So the vehicle's set, it's ready, it's capable. We talked about how adaptable it is, but we wanted to show you the gears and all the details of it today. Pat, I think you did a great job. Thanks for walking us through it.
Absolutely. So guys, I think make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what else you want to see, but I think that's a wrap for this episode of Shop Talk.